Hey, what's up? I'm Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every Day. We are right in the middle of a deep dive series into the U.S. Coast Guard and all the crazy stuff they do, because it's impressive. Like, we've already looked at how they respond to distress signals, we've looked at the science of search patterns, and there's a ton of other cool stuff that I've already filmed that's incredible, and I'm excited to share it with you. But today, we're going to look at one of the workhorses of the U.S. Coast Guard. It's called the Response Boat Medium. This thing is incredible. It's a 45-foot long, computer-controlled jet boat that has like hyper maneuverability. It can do all kinds of different things. So instead of me like trying to explain what it does, why don't I just go look at some of the public domain footage released by the Coast Guard, and let's look at a few clips and see what this thing can do. Check this out. Here is some FLIR imagery from an aircraft of some sort observing some survivors floating on top of their capsized boat. The response boat medium, the RBM, arrives on scene and the survivors are rescued. This is the bread and butter of what this thing does. It gets out to the scene fast and gets survivors out of the water. Here's another example of it being used in an interesting way. Here you can see the RBM evacuating a person off of a cruise ship for a medical emergency. This one's pretty interesting. Here you can see an RBM responding to a distress call 24 miles off the coast of Texas. In this one, you can see those powerful jets working behind the RBM in the rough seas to keep it in position around the sailboat as it's trying to save the folks on board. They ended up saving 4 souls on this distress call. Although most times people are excited to see the RBM, there are other times when people are not so excited to see the RBM. Here we can see a guy out for a nice stroll on his boat. It seems to be very loaded down, very heavy. Unfortunately, he's loaded down with drugs. This is a drug runner. And here you can see an RBM on the FLIR imagery here coming up alongside. He's probably saying something like, "Excuse me, sir, can we please have a chat?" And you can see that the drug runner says, "No thank you, and I'm gonna go as fast as my boat can go." At that point, the highly trained Coast Guard personnel pull out firearms and start neutralizing the outboard motors on the drug runner boat. And you can tell that they are, at that point, more interested in the chat with the Coasties. That is legit. So today I am super excited to continue the Coast Guard deep dive with you, and we're gonna try to learn everything we can about the Response Boat Medium, the RBM. Let's go get smarter every day. So I went down to Destin, Florida, Station Destin, and we got to do all kinds of stuff. I learned how to finger whistle, that's always fun.
Holy cow! Are you serious?
It's an amazing thing to see how a normal Coast Guard station operates, and you'll see that in an upcoming video. Okay, let's get things started. Corey Palmer, who's the senior chief over Station Destin, is gonna give me my first introduction to the RBM. We're gonna walk out there, and he's just gonna give me an overview of what it is and where everything is located. They have the jet drive, correct?
Yes.
I've never interacted with the jet drive, but I hear it's quite the thing.
So,
are we hopping on?
Yes, sir. We can hop on.
Cool. Oh, wow. Got some insulation here for the sun.
Yeah, for the sun, keep things a little cooler. This is actually one of the boats that has air conditioning on it, which is a plus when you're out here. Down here, we call this the survivors compartment. Kind of use it for just that. If we bring a lot of people on board and we have a long run to do.
You've got rudimentary kitchen type facilities in
yeah,
here.
We got a microwave that helps us out. We also have a head in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is like kind of the center of the engine room. I'll actually open up these hatches for you.
Oh, you got a tool there.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So there's obviously another one just like it on the other side.
That's a beast.
Yeah, this is a Detroit diesel.
Yeah,
also MTU 6-cylinder diesel engine, 825 horsepower. So for both engines, it moves a lot of water.
So how fast can these go?
This boat will do anywhere from about like 41 to 43 knots.
Golly.
Yeah.
This is a lot of boat to go that fast.
Yeah, very maneuverable. It can also stop very quickly.
Because you can throw down, what do you call it on the back?
We call them buckets.
Buckets.
Yep.
So you've got the jet and the bucket comes up.
Yeah, when you're going forward, the buckets are up. And then when you want to go reverse, the bucket will come down and redirect that thrust, forward.
I got a closer look at this bucket design when I saw an RBM up on blocks at Coast Guard Sector Mobile in Mobile, Alabama, when Lieutenant Trevor Vallette showed me around. Here we are at the back of one of these boats. These are two, what do you call them?
Jet drives.
Jet drives. Okay, so I can tell that it's clearly moving water here. It comes back out here, but look at this. So it's got this I don't know what you call this, a scoop? The fluid can come here and then it gets parted and it changes that fluid momentum, so that would pull the boat backwards when it's in this configuration. What's the intake? So the water, oh wow. So the water goes in there and then it shoots it out here, or it'll divert it and it can go backwards.
So down here, this is the the lazarette.
This is the what?
The lazarette.
Is it okay if I go in there?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of the lazarette?
This is it's got our steering equipment, so the controls for those buckets that you were just looking at.
This is all hydraulics, right?
Yes.
So these are...
we call them DCVs, directional control valves.
Okay.
And that's what the little solenoids or I don't know, actuators that tell the hydraulic fluid where to go.
Oh, that's awesome. They're little valves.
Yeah.
Oh, so that whole thing is basically a block. It's like a manifold.
Yep.
And then those go in and out, and I can see all the hydraulic ins and outs.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That kind of taper portion right there.
This one right here?
Yes. That is where the impeller kind of shaft comes through from the engine.
That way.
Yep. And then there's a big impeller in there, or a little propeller, whatever you want to call it, that's spinning, and that's what's forcing that water out.
So you've got two controls here. One of them, am I correct in saying one of them is for the bucket?
Yep.
And then the other one, can you actually direct the...
Yeah, you're steering.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tell you what direction to send the thrust.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Thanks for showing me that.
Absolutely.
So this folds out, right?
That folds up.
Up.
And then it's a little stairwell down.
You can walk down.
So if you look on this side, this one is up at the moment.
Oh, hey fish. Yeah, okay.
And
why would you want to walk down? Because you want to get down here so you can interact with the other boat.
Yeah, if we need to bring someone on board, like if someone was in the water, it's a difficult task to pull someone 250 pounds out. You want to be as close to the water, so when you're getting them up, you can get them up. Doing that from up here would be really challenging to do.
So this boat is extremely maneuverable.
Yes.
You have a human right there.
Yeah.
So that means steering this thing is very important.
Yes. Instead of a steering wheel, it's got two joysticks. This boat can actually drive sideways if you need to. Those buckets will do their thing and make the boat kind of go wherever you need it to.
The next morning, I got to go out to the RBMs as two of the crew members were getting the boats ready to go out to sea. Now, the interesting thing for me is this felt more like pre-flight checkouts on a Black Hawk helicopter than getting a boat ready to go out on the water. Okay, this is Ortiz and Machachi. What are your ranks?
MK3.
MK3?
And I'm a seaman.
What are we doing?
It's a pre-mission check.
Pre-mission check?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna secure the shore power. Shore power is what gives the boat power while it's at the pier. Just take it right off shore power. Turn the alarm off, come back here, then we're gonna check everything. So she's gonna go down in the middle, check the engine oil, make sure that we have enough, make sure that the quality's good.
How you doing that, Ortiz?
I'm just untightening this, and then go ahead and pull this out.
Normal dipstick?
Yes, just check it. It's good, a little low, but it's good. It's halfway.
What you doing over here?
Tighten it back up.
So I'm checking red gear oil. So it's all 15W40 in all three of the oils that we're gonna check.
Yep.
So check the red gear oil, make sure we have oil in there. We're gonna check the jet drive oil, which is right here. It's good.
You checking the other engine now, Ortiz?
Yes, just got done. It's good to go.
It's basically just a big jet ski.
Big jet ski.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
So Justin just took shore power away.
All right, which engine was low?
Starboard engine.
Starboard, okay.
It's like 3/4. It's not.
Okay, I'm gonna put oil in it. Yeah, so once we're done with that, we come down here to the vector control system breaker panel. So it's right against this bulkhead here, and that gives us steering and propulsion. Or, yeah, steering. So right here, this little guy there. I'm gonna check the discharge. So if you look in these holes here, see water splashing around, that means you got raw water discharge.
That hole right there?
Yep, and this one right here as well.
You're checking for water spitting out of that.
Exactly, yep. We'll come in here, turn the generators on, and once these green lights stop blinking, that means the generators are synchronized and we're ready to put the boat to generator power. It's 120 VAC coming out of those generators. We got 12 volts direct current, 24 direct current, 24, and then over here is our AC bus. And then since we're synchronized, we can put it to generator power. And then we start turning everything on.
Do you love this?
I love this. Yeah, this is good stuff. Yes, this is our GPS and this is our chart plotter right here.
So Justin, is he getting the boat ready for you?
For the crew, yeah, we're gonna get underway.
Who's driving today?
I'll be driving.
You're driving? Sounds good. And what's the official term for that?
Coxswain.
You're the coxswain today? Yeah. Do you love it as much as he loves making the engine work?
I think I do.
See, these are the steering nozzles right here. So when I go left, go all the way left,
Yeah.
and so on, you know. And then we got our buckets, our reversing buckets. So if I bring those back, they'll go all the way back, all the way forward. And when I can also change the interceptors, which gets us on plane.
Whoa.
So checking all those.
So is that trim?
Yeah,
How are you doing this?
So when you want to check the interceptors, you bring the buckets all the way forward, and then you pull this down, and that brings the interceptors all the way up.
So you can actually plane out the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
You plane out the boat with those things, just like you're trimming an airplane.
Exactly, yeah. We're gonna check all of our floodlights. Yeah, all the way around the boat. So there's 4 of them, and then we got a spotlight up top.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Can you see the bucket move back there?
Yes.
Back there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you open the inspection?
So he has them trimmed all the way forward. Buckets are up, so the jet just goes straight back. Now he's in full reverse. Gotcha. That's amazing.
So that's something you can watch. If you look down into the lazarette, you can see all this happening. So this is the steering ram. This will move our nozzles.
Yeah.
This is the reversing bucket.
So when you say this steers your nozzle, is it actually moving the nozzle left and right?
Yeah, so the nozzles move like this.
Can we see the bucket move?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, dude, I see it.
Yeah.
So this is a hydraulic actuator.
Yep.
And you have this linkage because that is your feedback. That tells you that the bucket actually went back. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
this is what is showing you on the vector display panel where the bucket is. This is our directional control valve. So this is what all the hydraulic fluid comes here.
Yep.
And then this is what actually controls each one of these respective systems here.
Why do you have 2 valves on this side, but you got 3 on this side? This manifold seems to be larger.
So that manifold actually, so there's only one piston for the steering ram. It's on that side,
Right.
behind you. This one is only controlling bucket for the starboard side and interceptor for the starboard side down there.
Gotcha.
That one's got steering, bucket, and interceptor.
That's
so
it.
the steering ram is, see that big one right there?
Yeah.
That one's the,
You talking about this right here?
yeah, that's the whole thing for the steering ram.
Oh
This
my goodness, I see
side
it.
bar.
So you've got one hydraulic actuator, and these 2 are mechanically coupled together.
Exactly, yep.
And
And you can adjust it here, however you need it to be.
So it makes them both operate in parallel.
Exactly.
So when you say adjust it, so do you adjust trim so that they're running parallel with each other?
So what you can do is you can, if it were to come out of adjustment for some reason, or you needed to adjust it, you can change it here to where the nozzles will either be like this, like that, you know, like that. So right now they're perfectly in line.
You're sitting on the filter for seawater.
Yep, this is the raw water strainer, duplex strainer right here.
Yeah, and there's one over here, so that's the other filter. Dude, I have to get your picture because I can tell how much you love this.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yep.
Such a great picture, dude.
So what she's doing right now, we're gonna get oil samples from the engine while it's at above 140 degrees. We can test it. We'll do something called fuel oil viscosity test on a falling ball to see fuel oil dilution.
Is this the same thing? Like you take it's a metal ring and it goes down into the oil and then a ball is falling on it and then it rubs the ball and then you measure how much it rubs off. Is that how it works, or is it?
So ours, it's 3 balls. 1 goes into a clean oil sample.
Okay.
And then 2 go into the dirty oil, or used oil
Is it
samples.
like a time thing?
It is a time thing. So the clean oil, the ball will go much slower because it's not diluted oil. The 2 others, compared to the clean oil, will tell you how much fuel oil dilution you have.
Oh wow.
So it's just a little falling ball test. It's very analog.
So they finished getting everything together, released the moorings, and we got underway.
Ortiz, you tell me where to be, okay?
Okay.
To show how maneuverable everything can be, Justin put the boat into a special mode.
We have what's called docking mode. We can drive sideways. So I'm gonna do a circle around this buoy. So I'm gonna keep my bow on it the whole time. So I'm just gonna drive sideways.
So he has the ability to go sideways?
Yeah, so the boat can go whatever direction he wants. Basically, his steering nozzle will give him control of where the bow is. The other joystick will give him control front to side, back.
Kicking back over there.
Yep. So basically what's happening is the buckets are splitting. So one bucket is facing forward and one bucket is facing aft. So it just gives you the ability to do little donuts in the water.
So he's just keeping his nose right at that buoy and then just going straight around it.
Yep.
So this one here is my propulsion. So forward is forward propulsion.
Oh,
back
wow.
is back propulsion. And then if I want to go side to side, let's open this buoy. I just turn it all the way to one side. Just move it straight to one side. And you'll notice my bow is going to fall off this direction. Because it's pushing the boat, the stern that way.
Yeah.
If I want to go the other direction, I bring it all the way this way. And the boat's just going to move straight over.
So what is the one on the left? Forgive me.
Just steering.
Steering. But you have to have forward momentum in order for it to be doing anything, is that correct?
Not true. So with a jet drive, it's kind of always moving a little bit of water. So I have no propulsion engaged. I can still turn my tiller all the way to the left and we're gonna go left. We're just gonna pivot.
Got it.
There are only 3 variables that make this thing do what it do, and it's incredible. You've got engine speed, you've got steering, and you've got bucket position. By using these 3 variables, you are able to do incredible things with this boat. Let's dive into it. Okay, let's start with the obvious. We have 2 jets coming out the back of the boat, and each of those can provide thrust. Without any other variable, we can move the boat forward by simply turning the jets on. But because we can control engine speed on each of those jets, we also have the ability to control the flow going out of each jet, which means we can rev up one of the engines higher than the other, and more water flows out of that jet, and we can create an imbalance which will result in a torque, or rotation around the boat's center of mass. So are we rotating about the center of mass, or are we rotating about the center of pressure, or the center of drag? It's complicated. All that being said, just know that the control system that we're working with here takes all of that into account. What are the other ways we can use our inputs to steer this thing? You remember down in the lazarette, both jets always steer in the same direction. They move in tandem. So that creates a way that we can create rotation and steer the boat. Angle the thrusters and it creates rotation along with forward thrust. So angling those thrusters is one of our possible control inputs. Now we get to the really fun thing we can do, and that's unique to jet boats, and that is drop the buckets. If we drop a bucket down into the flow of the rearward jet, it will split and redirect that flow and angle it back forward, and this can pull the boat backwards. This is why the RBM can stop so fast. The fact that you can be moving along at cruising engine speed and then suddenly drop the buckets down into the propulsive jets without even changing your engine speed means you can go to full power forward to full reverse without having to wait on engine changes or reversing of the transmission. You're just instantly redirecting the thrust by putting that bucket down in the flow. To be able to stop a boat this large in such a short distance, like a length and a half of the RBM, that is incredible. Watch the LCD display here. You can see the position of the buckets show that the buckets are up, and you can also see that the port and starboard engine speeds are displayed here. When they want to stop, they simply drop the buckets down into the flow, and it instantly slams the RBM into reverse, and it stops it in just a few seconds. It's like power braking. The buckets can also be used separately. If you put one bucket down with equal flow going out both jet nozzles, you could put the boat into a spin by the creation of a rotational force. The non-bucketed jet would push the nose forward from the thrust, and the bucketed jet would pull the nose backwards, creating a torque. In this instance, both engines would be exerting a force in a clockwise direction, resulting in a rotational force spinning the boat. Switch the bucket positions, and the rotation would reverse, and the boat would rotate counterclockwise. Okay, so the fact that we can drop and raise buckets independently, that's huge, right? You can do so much just with that. But the fact that you can actually steer within those buckets while they're raising or dropping, that opens up a whole new level. This was the aha moment for me when I started to understand this. Let's say we wanted to move sideways to our port side. If we put the port side bucket down and angle the jets to the starboard side, we would have force from the buckets pushing us to the port side, but there would be this angular rotation pulling the nose towards that jet. Thankfully, we have the starboard side unbucketed jet, which would both move the boat forward and create angular rotation pushing the nose away from it. So now, by also adjusting the variable thrust in each engine, we can create a balanced maneuver where we control how fast we go sideways with the ability to control the rotation of the boat. If we wanted to go sideways the other direction, we could reverse the buckets, we could angle the steering in the other direction, and we could adjust the engine speed to get the desired motion that we want. All this maneuverability from just a few little inputs in the back, it's incredible. And now you can see why they need an onboard control computer, because what it's doing is it's taking those joystick inputs from the human, and the computer is translating that into boat valve speak to give the desired outputs to get the boat where it needs to go, or try to do what the human wants it to do. Bonus, by the way, there's even another variable. There's this thing called interceptors. They're like these little wings that control the trim of the boat, but before they go into a turn, they can dip one of these into the water, and there's so much. This is an awesome boat, and now you can see why I wanted to make a video on the RBM. It's fantastic. Anyway, let's get back on the boat.
So I'm gonna come up.
Okay.
Hold on.
Coming up, I.
Coming up.
I thought you already said it.
Good job, G. So you're looking for people in the water?
Yeah, any boats, any jet skis that I can't really see because they're so small, anything like that. Just want to make sure we're not going to hit anybody.
Now that he's moving fast, you're looking out as well? Yeah, I'm checking radar. I'm making sure he sees everything. He's going to keep his eyes open. I'm going to look where he's not looking, just to make sure there's no boats that come out of nowhere. Or
What's your hand on over there? Is that the trim control? What is that?
this is the exact same that he has.
Got it.
So you can switch controls to either side.
Oh, okay.
This comes down. I can drive from here too.
Got it.
So this right here is just running normal, and this is what happens when I bring the interceptor all the way down.
You can tell the displacement of the water is coming up. It moved forward. So if you bring it back up, Justin,
Yeah.
watch. The white water will move back, which means our bow came up.
What? You have a camera in the engine compartment?
Yep. Yeah, you can see it in
The
there.
CCTV camera.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that's for when
That's like some spaceship stuff, man. That's legit.
So whenever anything goes wrong with the boat, we have something called a Becky.
Quit making fun of me, Justin.
I'm not. I'm saying I love how excited you are.
I'm just really excited about your camera on your engine.
So every time something goes wrong with the boat, we have a,
It's all, don't worry about it.
we have a checklist for
Yeah.
anything that can go wrong pretty much.
Yeah?
These are all problems. You go into the index here, table of contents, and find whichever one it's going to be. So main engine high water temperature. Actually, we'll do this one because it's more fun. We'll do the foul water jet.
Okay.
So with foul water jet, it's number 23.
You want to run this, Becky? Let's just run it.
Jet. So first things first, oxygen will come down. Set the joystick to 0.
High water tips on the starboard engine coming down.
Pretty much we come back here, look around in the water, make sure there's no line that may have been sucked up in. So we don't see any line, we're in clear water, everything looks good out here. So we're good to back flush. He's gonna bring it up to 1200 RPMs. Those intake rates I was telling you about, it's gonna pull water in through the nozzles, shoot water out that way. So in that case, you know, it didn't clear, then I would go down to the lazarette. Enter in the lazarette,
Got it?
checking strainers. Let's say, you know, this one's got a whole bunch of debris in it.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna do is pull this lever up and switch it around. Pull it over there. And it's gonna use this strainer instead. And then when we get back later, I'm gonna clean that strainer out. Oh, it's literally a valve. And that's it. Now we're on the other strainer. Switch it over, we're good to go.
Okay.
All right, engaging.
Engaging eye.
When we get it away, we usually do at least a few Becky's.
What's a Becky?
It's basic engineering casualty control exercise. So it's how we train for if we do have an actual casualty. And so when it does happen, you know, it's muscle memory. We already know exactly what we need to do. We pull off the Becky book in case we miss anything, make sure we don't miss anything. But you know, it's training for us.
The RBM can do way more than we discussed here. It's got an onboard FLIR to help find survivors at night, and it's able to operate in crazy icy environments and big swells. I found both the RBM and the young men and women operating it to be equally impressive. Like the RBM, these folks are versatile, they've got drive, and they get stuff done. As we returned to base, I had a casual conversation with Justin, who also likes photography, and listening to him made me excited about our future as a nation, knowing that motivated leaders like this are coming up through the ranks of the U.S. Coast Guard.
You're only 20 years old?
I just turned 21 actually.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's like fast forwarding your life.
Yeah, it's definitely a fast track.
Hey Ortiz,
Yes,
do you mind me asking how old you are?
I just turned 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a lot for a 20-year-old?
I mean, I love it. It's preparing me. If this is a lot, then like I'm gonna be prepared like for whatever comes to me.
What do you want to, like, is this what you want to do? Do you want to make a career out of this? Or you said you want to be a law
Hey, hold on, we gotta go. We're gonna drop you off at the station. We gotta go spawn something offshore.
Station Destin had received a call about a possible incident offshore, and since we were so close to the station, they decided to swing back in and pick up one of their local law enforcement officers. My buddy George was at the station when the call came in, so he turned on his iPhone and recorded the return to station from his perspective.
What was the call?
Taking on water now, they can't get a hold of him.
Offshore, he's coming down with a lot, Mom.
Golly.
Guy called in, said he had a capsized vessel in this position. They tried calling the number back. They can't reach him. Okay. 6 miles offshore, south of Santa Rosa Island.
Nice to meet you. All right. Well, I didn't get to say goodbye because they're going to try to get somebody that capsized, but thank you very much, Coast Guard Station Destin. This was quite the experience. I hope they find them.
This episode of Smarter Every Day is sponsored by KiwiCo. So KiwiCo is a really cool setup. They send this box to your house and the kids get to open it and all the instructions are right there. They get to go through everything, get to learn about science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. It's amazing. My kids have straight up grown up with KiwiCo in the house.
Check it out. Koala crate. Who's that?
You can see my kids when they were younger. I don't like seeing this because that means they're growing up before my eyes. And yes, KiwiCo does a great job of helping them learn all kinds of great things and preparing them for whatever they want to do in the world. They get self-confidence. They do a thing themselves when they get done. They look at you and they're like, look at what I built. But that means that they're growing up. I'm feeling things. But if you want to try this, go to kiwico.com/smarter30. You get 30% off your first month of any crate. There are 9 different lines of KiwiCo crates, and this covers all ages, all kinds of different topics. You're gonna love this. Go check it out on the website. I love my kids. I love the fact that they love KiwiCo, and I love everything they've learned through the whole KiwiCo journey, and it's been a part of our lives. Like, as my kids are growing up, KiwiCo has been right there with us. It's been a huge part of our journey as a family. I think it would be great for you as well. kiwico.com/smarter30. That gets you 30% off any crate of your choosing on the first month. Thank you so much to KiwiCo for supporting Smarter Every Day. Thank you so much for considering supporting the sponsor.
Why did you choose Coast Guard over Air Force? Tell me straight up, Ortiz.
Well, they were only offering
Tell me
special
the real
warfare
deal.
jobs and huge, long contracts, and I didn't even know if I wanted to be like in the chair force for that long. So I mean, I'd rather be on the water. I grew up on the water, so I'm so glad I picked the Coast Guard, honestly.
Why? Because you're actually...
I'm doing stuff. I'm not completely useless, you know?
You're... Did you just call the Air Force useless?
No, they're not useless. I'm just saying, I feel like I actually like help here. I don't know if I would help in the Air Force.
Machachi, she's making fun of the Air Force over here. How are we gonna publish this, man?
I don't know.
But I think the Coast Guard does kind of, in my experience, you know, some people do kind of make fun of the Coast Guard.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we always get made fun of all the time. No one really knows what we do. But usually when we get made fun of, I'm like, listen, we're probably making more than you still, and we have our own apartment, and we have cooks that cook for us. We don't eat at the DFAC, so make fun of me all you want. We're living our best life out here.
Oh, golly. Ortiz is slinging the fire. Okay. All right.